Hi everyone, welcome back guys, and in this session I'm going to talk something very important to you. After this NEET exam, NEET 2027 exam, there'll be two types of students. One, those who will be thinking that I must have started little earlier and I could have completed little more syllabus. I wish I would have done this or that. And there'll be a second category of students who will be sitting in their dream college. Now, which category will you belong to? That depends on how you start today. There's an age old saying, well begun is half done. So it's very important that how you start today. So before you start your preparation, or if you have just started your preparation for NEET 2027, this video is going to actually help you and make you understand how to do certain things from day one and what to do and what not to do. So before you scroll up and just turn to another strategy video, just listen carefully. What are the mistakes which even a very good student can make and does make, and then lands up in a regretful situation? So let's start one by one. So the first point is, the biggest mistake that most of the students tend to make is studying like a topper from day one. I understand. This is usually, a very idealistic situation. I am going to do this and that, and finally, but the moment a day, a week passes by, so we start losing that energy. So understand one thing: it's not a game of a week or 15 days or just a month. It has to be continued for another 1 year, or around just 9 months are left. So you have to continue this whole preparatory phase for 9 months. That is for NEET 2027. So don't build very idealistic ambitions and don't start in that very ambitious way and then sulk down. Don't. It is a game of consistency. So don't start studying like a topper from day one. First of all, you have to understand where you stand. So understand and accept it very honestly. Wherever you are, even if you are scoring 150 or 200 right now, understand, accept, and then build over that. That is number one mistake. And how we are going to solve all these and what are the things, do's and don'ts for the next 9 months, we are going to discuss it all. Next is not preparing for board exams. You have to understand this, guys. We are not preparing for the board exams, we are preparing for NEET. You must have seen many of your friends around who score wonderful in their school exams, in their written exams, but when it comes to NEET, they are not even able to score around 200 or 250. Why is that so? Because the whole game is different, the whole strategy is different. NEET is a strategy of concepts. You need to have concepts. It is a strategy of memory, speed, and accuracy. And especially with CBT coming up, this whole game has again become difficult, because your concepts will stay with you, memory will stay with you, but your speed and accuracy is going to differ when it comes to CBT, especially your speed. And when your speed decreases, your mind stops working efficiently, and then your accuracy also falls. So we have to tackle so many things for NEET 2027. And because it is going to be a CBT mode, guys, please understand that you have to prepare for CBT from day one. How do we do that? There are multiple ways. Yes, number one, we have CBT test series that you should take, right? Because that will give you a clear idea. You will get into a routine of CBT. It won't be a new thing, a new way. No. So get your brain to get your brain used to that CBT thing. Another thing, you have to solve questions online every day. You have to do that. Physics, chemistry, bio. And don't turn off the timer for that. So solve questions. Let a timer tick all the time, and your brain have to function according to that. So you have to prepare for NEET 2027 CBT model from day one. Now, what are the steps that you are going to follow? So step number one is, and you have to follow this in exact same order, guys. You have to, step one is attending your live lectures. Attend your lectures regularly. Don't miss any lecture, because concept building occurs in your class. After the class, you will be revising things, you will be solving questions, you will be learning them, you will be doing other things, but Your concept building takes place in class, live class with the teacher, and then don't attend these live classes passively, just the educator is speaking and you're just noting down. No, listen, pause writing, and then just listen, understand the concept. Even if some notes are missed out, doesn't matter, you will be getting all the notes anyhow, right? But attend your lectures live and actively ask questions, ask your doubts. We provide you with so many doubt solving platforms, right? Then step number 2 is you have to revise what you have learned. See, the ideal way is to revise immediately, and this quick revision doesn't take more than 5 to 10 minutes. So, the moment class is done, just skim through your pages and see what we have discussed, what we have done in today's class. Just 5 to 10 minutes. It might look like a futile activity, but it is not. Just brushing up rewinds everything and it comes back to your, conscious mind. So that is revision number 1. But after this, take a break, have your lunch, dinner, do other subjects, and then again revise. Now, this revision has to be a detailed revision. And then this revision has to continue. Now, revision has to be at different timings. One, as I said, right after the lecture, which is just a 5 or 10 minutes skimming through the pages. Second revision has to be detailed one. Within 24 hours, you have to do that. Third revision should be after 3 days, then after a week. So this revision must continue so that you keep on recapitulating the ideas and recapitulating the concepts here. So if you will stop revising them, they will just go back in that deep-seated memory, and I don't know whether they'll come back or not. So revision is very, very important. This actually decides, do you remember the last days of NEET exam? We have learnt everything. We were in a hurry that I could revise this thing, and many of you must have lagged behind in revision. This becomes one very, very big shortcoming for many students. So make sure that revision occurs simultaneously after the lecture and then at regular intervals. Very, very important. Step number 3 is, guys, that you solve questions. Most of us, we fear solving questions because that's where the reality comes out, whether we have understood certain things or we not. So, that insecurity of facing the reality, facing the honesty prevents us from solving questions, and particularly for physics and chemistry. So we avoid solving questions. So don't do that. You have to attend, you have to revise, and then you have to solve questions for each and every subject. This is step number 3. Step number 4 is, guys, you have to read NCERT very religiously. Don't run for any other book. You have to follow NCERT only, particularly for biology. Right? For physics and chemistry, your educators are definitely guiding you so much better. But again, in physics, chemistry also, please do not ignore the NCERT books, right? And then step number 5 is write short notes. Now this step number 5 will come a little while later, once all the learning is done. Maybe after a month you have to follow this step. When the whole learning of that chapter is done, you have revised it enough, you have solved questions, and you have taken a weekly test also, and you have collected all the mistakes. Once all this is done, then you should start making the short notes, because in short notes you're not just writing the key points, you might also have to include the blunder that you have made in your test, or some understanding of the concept that was not clear in NCERT, but you have to revise it again and put it in a short way in the short note also. So these are the 5 steps that you have to follow for each and every subject. Now, your weekly plan, please understand, as I said in the beginning, it's not a matter of just 1 week or 15 days. You have to continue this process for the next 9 months till your NEET 2027. So weekly plan has to be that first of all, you're going to maintain balance between all the 3 subjects, and you're going to solve questions for all the 3 subjects. Second, this revision has to be regular, as I just told you. First, right after the live session. Second, within 24 hours, which is actually the detailed one, and where you revise things, and then after 3 days, after a week, and so on. And then you have to take this one weekly test by every means. You have to take this weekly test all the batches, weekly tests are being conducted. Why not a shorter test? But you have to take this weekly test. And then just taking test will not help. You have to analyze. You have to analyze which questions went wrong. You also have to analyze. So you see, generally, what do we do after the test? How much did I score? Was it a good score? Was it not a good score? How much the other person scored? Mine was better. Oh no, mine was not better. And then you start feeling bad. No, it's every wrong question is an opportunity to learn. So when you are analyzing the test, find out which questions went wrong and which were also strong, right? So the concepts which are right for you, they will give you more confidence, which is also important and necessary. And secondly, the questions that you have gone wrong with, please understand the questions that you have gone wrong with, understand the pattern of that mistake, understand the pattern of this mistake. So what are the generally I see these 4 patterns only. One, you have a weak concept. Second, you are making a calculative mistake, or you have not learnt it well, you have not memorized the trick well, be it examples or be it direct line. So you have not read NCERT completely, that is also memory based mistake. And then a silly mistake. Silly mistake means it could be calculative, but generally silly mistake is then that you have not read through the question. You read the question, but you ignored not true. And now these silly mistakes are going to increase because of CBT, because now we don't have that, leverage of underlining or encircling the keywords. Now these keywords are actually going to haunt us. So make sure that you practice CBT. Understand, this CBT is going to change the entire game. You have to practice for it. If you'll just wake up one day and go for the test, okay, not in the pen and paper mode today, let's take it on CBT, you are going to fail badly. It might scare you, but you are going to fail badly if you will not score. This NEET 2027, as I'm always saying, is no more just a game of knowledge. You have to develop another skill here. And skills are not developed and not perfected overnight. You have to practice for it again and again. You will falter, you have to rise again, and that's what Phoenix does, right? Now listen, silly mistakes. You have not read the options carefully. So you found the first option right and you just marked it in the answer. No, second was also correct, third was also correct, and the fourth option said all of the above. So reach till that fourth option. Even if you find the correct answer in the very first option, don't forget to read other options also. Is that clear? So find out your mistake pattern. This is very important. And now let me know in the comment section which out of these is your pattern of mistakes. Everybody has one pattern. If I tell you mine, I was generally making the calculative mistakes. 2 into 3 is equal to 5, and sometimes 2 plus 3 is equal to 6. So it happens because you are constantly under pressure. But that's where the game changes. If you learn how to perform under pressure, you are a winner. So find out your mistake pattern. And then a last advice is subject related. So first of all, guys, yes, for biology, we are going to score 360 out of 360. Half game will be won here. So how do you prepare for biology? This is your strongest weapon. First of all, being a medical student, you automatically have more aptitude for this subject. You love this subject. And it's an easy subject relatively as compared to physics and chemistry. You have to just read NCERT again and again, actively marking the right things, revising the right things, incorporating the mistakes in your NCERT, and revising them again and again. So the thing is, read, underline, revise, and solve. You have to solve these questions. Very, very important. You have to solve these questions, guys. Right? And again, analyze them, find your mistake pattern, and make sure that you are making a mistake copy side by side. Then for physics, apply the concepts. Why do we scare physics so much? It's all about questions, right? And why don't we solve questions? Because it is face to face with the reality. But isn't it better to face the reality today rather than facing it on the D-Day, right? So solve questions. Even if it goes wrong, what will happen? You will learn. So the whole motive for the entire time should be learning. It is not the time to compare yourself with others. That will be done ultimately. Right now you have to compare yourself to your previous self with your previous day. Are you growing? Are you learning? Then it is all good. Every day has to be a learning day. You should sleep with this one thought that okay, I have learned something new, I am improving. And then for chemistry, you have to understand concepts. Of course, you have to revise, but for particularly physical chemistry, you have to revise practice questions. Organic chemistry involves lots of mechanisms and NCERT for inorganic. And rest, all the detailed plans for physics and chemistry are definitely given by your educators. Follow them. The point is guys, that you don't have to hover from one place to another. And that's what brings me to this point, that things that you must stop right now is hovering from one place to another like a bumblebee, one flower another flower. So don't do that. The concept is, the underlining thing is one teacher, one NCERT and multiple revisions. That's what is going to bring you the rank. That's what is going to bring you the selection. You getting that? So follow all these steps. And before I go, you must know one last thing. Today is the last day to get this Phoenix 3.0 batch for this price. All you have to do is use the code TRLIVE. This offer is ending today, that is August 8. And if you want, if I am saying if, but actually it is a mandatory thing, you have to practice for CBT, guys. Get offline CBT for 4,999 extra. You will drop down to the center, practice it in the exact same way like you're going to do it on the final day, so that you don't fumble there are no panic attacks, and it is all buttery for you. So with all this information, guys, please make sure that you are following these steps from day one and not leaving them for the later. Last 6 months are left. Rather than watching, those strategy videos, how to crack exam in 3 months, it's better that you start well today. All the best.